You excited for the train ride, are you? You excited to go on a choo-choo? Who's going on a choo-choo?
Your lens is dirty.
Who's going on a choo? What?
Your lens is dirty. There's dust in one arena. There's only...
This seat taken, ma'am? Nice. Nice. One of the first ideas I had about putting on a race was to run along this rail line, but didn't quite work out, and people would have been having to run into this kind of stuff. Would have been a little uncomfortable. Beautiful run though, it would have been. Has a zoom on it?
Yeah.
I love that thing. Totally getting one. Oh, sorry. Come on through.
No, perfectly fine. Oh, you brought me one. Yeah, there you go.
This is Lisa's cousin. He's got his own YouTube channel, so we're discussing the ins and outs, right?
Redwood and the giant sequoia found in the Sierra Nevada.
You ever heard, I can never do that. If somebody eats differently than somebody else, they look at it, I can never do that. When you really think about it, it's a kind of a helpless way to look at the world. I can never give up cheese. That's a big one, right? That's the implication, is that if you did that, your life would be a shambles. It would just be miserable and you just couldn't get up out of bed in the morning. And really, you can, and I would rather people acknowledge that they can and make a decision about that. We're stopped, and then we're gonna go back in reverse. I'm not even kidding. It's not the best feature of this train trip. There we go, just backwards, just backwards. All the things that you've ever said, I could never do that, I could never do that. Just take a moment and at least determine whether you actually could or couldn't, whether you want to or not. Just be like, well, I could do that, but I don't really want to. What that allows you, of course, is either to do that thing or to open up the possibility that at some point you might change your mind. Don't be so quick to just dismiss something out of hand. Get to know the power you have. Determine the things you could do. Changes to our health, changes to the food we eat, changes to the activity that we do. Those changes that really are in our power, know that they're in your power. That's a great place to start and a great way to live. I could never run a mile. Well, maybe you could, and maybe you know you could. How about I could do it? I have zero interest in running a mile, but at least it's something you know you could do, because you never know how your life is going to change. 5 years from now, circumstances might be completely different, and running a mile might be the thing you want to do most. I get that it's kind of a nice thing to just be like, I could never do that, because then it's just off the table and you don't have to think about it anymore. It's just something I can't do, so therefore I don't really have to grapple with it anymore. I don't have to grapple with it. But we grapple with it somehow. We grapple with an ethic of walking into our lives feeling powerless and thinking about all the things that we can't do. Come out in your life with the ethic of coming up to something and saying, could I do it? Could I actually do it? Have no interest in doing it, but could I? Can you kind of see that that's a better way to walk out your door every morning? The reason I bring this up in the first place is because I hear this all the time. Anytime somebody looks at someone else and that person's doing something completely different from what they're doing, they go, I could never do that. The implication being that if somebody's doing something different than you're doing, they must be miserable. They're way less happy than you are. So of course you could never do that, because then your life would just suck. What if maybe what they're doing would make you happier? I think we should take it easy in the way that we change our lives, take it easy on ourselves, make the changes incrementally. But I think we let ourselves off too easy about the things that we can do about our lives. I think it's okay to not be so freaking easy on ourselves that we just roll over and go, yeah, I could never do that. We gotta get the fight back in us, and we gotta take that fight into our lives every day.